Well, it's kind of weird Kirby only has 3 characters. And we'll be going over Kirby first, because unlike Sonic, Kirby's an actual Nintendo franchise. And if we want to talk about series getting special treatment, all we have to do is look at Fire Emblem having 8 characters. Like, does Fire Emblem really need 8 characters? But Kirby actually has a lot of characters to pick from. And yes, there will be spoilers for the newest Kirby game and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So if you don't want to watch this video because of the day and spoilers for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, because this video will contain spoilers for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and we're going over all of the characters from least likely, no, not least likely, most likely to least likely, all of the big guys. So the most likely Kirby character probably is Bandana Waddle Dee, okay? He is basically, like the player 2 character basically in the Forgotten Land. He's also the only playable character in Kirby's Return to Dreamland that isn't playable. And people are like, but his moveset would be boring, but we really don't have any characters that use spears in Smash Bros. And I think out of all the Kirby characters, Bandana Waddle Dee, he's playable in a multiple Kirby games including the newest Kirby game, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and of course his moveset can pull from, that game, and of course Kirby's style allies and other previously established games. Number 2. Most likely characters. Galactonite / Morphonite. So Galactonite can also turn into Morphonite as in Kirby War, so we can have both in the game. Galactonite, which means Galactonite will not be an Echo character because he could transform into Morphonite as well. As of course in Kirby canon and in Kirby Cell Allies and Kirby in the Forgotten Land, he can go into Morphonite. I think a real clone for Meta Knight would be Dark Meta Knight. Dark Meta Knight would be basically just a clone of Meta Knight. Galactonite is basically a character from the Kirby series. He's an ancient warrior and he's said to be the strongest in the galaxy. He was sealed long ago, and of course with Kirby's style allies he can turn into Morphonite. And of course in Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Basically he can turn into Morphonite as well in, Kirby style allies as well, so he can be a transformed character. And basically during he can have an attack where the butterfly comes out and he turns into Morphonite basically, and he can turn back as well. So yeah, so that's Morphonite and Galactonite. So this is the character that is basically spoilers. So if you have not played, again, Morphonite's also technically spoilers as well, but the main villain of Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Okay, I think I don't know if I spelled the character's name correctly. So at the end of Kirby in the Forgotten Land, basically at the end of the game, there's an evil elfin and a good elfin. The good elfin is the one that helps you, but once they both merge into one being, they become Vector Elfin. So it's basically the Kirby's version of Cell. Basically the ultimate perfect life form. And basically, Vector Elfis, he has a sword, as well. He can use magical powers, and he can summon meteors as well, which could be a pretty good final match. So he summons those meteors at you. And he's basically the latest Kirby villain, and he is, it's a being that will do anything to achieve the goal. Because really, King Dedede and Meta Knight are not really villains, but you have an actual real villain in the game. And at the end of the game, he wanted to basically conquer. He wanted to collide Pop Style with the Forgotten Land out for spite of losing Efren. And basically, he tried to kill Kirby, and of course, Kirby beat him. But it would be a pretty cool villain that I include in Smash Bros. But now we're going to older Kirby games. Next character is Mox. So, I put Mox higher than many other of the Kirby characters, is the fact that Mox appears as a boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yep, Mox actually appears as a boss, and I think it can make Mox, actually a playable character in the game, okay? and the moveset can be taken from Kirby style allies as well. Because Mox is actually playable in Kirby style allies, and you can actually create a moveset from that playable appearance in Kirby style allies. As well, you can basically create balls out of thin air and stuff like that. And and of course, since he's already a boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we can make him basically just have the make him look like his appearance in that game as well. But yeah, him being a boss is like there. And again, you have characters like Magolor as well, but Magolor, of course, does not appear as a boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, nor does Gooey and other Kirby characters. There's Mox is the only character to appear as a boss. But he's less likely because, of course, the newest Kirby game is, of course, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which ranks him below the other characters that do appear in Kirby in the Forgotten Land. But he appears in Kirby Superstar. He also appears in Smash Bros. As a boss. And of course, he appears. And here's the entire moveset that he has in Kirby style allies, where they can just really rip that straight from the game, basically, as well. He might be broken, but, And of course, you all know he appears as a boss in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as well. And he also appears as a boss for various characters as well. So yeah, the fact that he's like a boss in the game, and he is not, and of course Ridley, being a former boss of Smash Bros, fightable boss, Ridley used to be a fightable boss in Smash Bros, makes him a bit more likely. Next character is Magolor. So Magolor also appears in Kirby Style Allies as a dream friend you can get. Again, the reason why he's higher because he's more recent. Of course, you have Susie and Taranza, but I think Magolor is like the actual character that actually has a chance. First of all, he is a villain, but he, of course, redeemed himself like Mox and Kirby-style allies, so he became a friend of Kirby's. But Mox was like an actual villain. Magolor was also a villain. Once he got the crown, he basically wanted to take over the universe. And basically, after, of course, he was defeated, he basically apologized to Kirby and stuff. But having him, he can, of course, there was a moveset available from the game Kirby-style allies, so yeah, I know people really hated Kirby-style allies, but the game really provides, the developers of Smash Bros. For actual movesets for Smash Bros. Because of course in Kirby-style allies, yeah, he has an entire moveset, which could be a basis for a Super Smash Bros. Moveset as well. Well, just like Mox and other Kirby characters that are also in Kirby-style allies. And of course, technically Susie and Taranza are more recent, but I think Magolor is just much more recognizable than both of the characters. So, next place is another Kirby character. And of course, I think it's the rest of the Dream Friends. So Susie, Darots, Doc Meta Knight, all of those characters. Since they already have movesets available in the game, Doc Meta Knight could be easily as well. But I think one other character that will be interesting is Gooey. So Gooey appears in Kirby games, and he is basically, he has a major role in Kirby's Dreamland 3, and he is basically a friendly piece of dark matter, which is very, very interesting. And and people are like, really, they want to add slime from Dragon Quest, but this is basically like that idea of adding slime, but from Dragon Quest, because adding slime from Dragon Quest would be ridiculous. But I think the only reason I'm mentioning Gooey instead of the other Dream Friends like Darots and others, I'll talk about Darots next, but because he would have a pretty interesting moveset. But Gooey, of course, appears in Kirby Star Wars, but the fact that in a Smash Bros. Fan game, they actually give him an entire moveset, and also they can take his moveset entirely from Kirby style allies as well. So, yeah. Now, of course, we'll be talking about Darots. So, he's probably the less likely Greek character. So Dalrot is of course a villain that appeared in Kirby's Speed Squad, and outside of Kirby style allies where he appeared as a deal as a post-launch character, he hasn't really appeared in many games since then. So I think outside of, him appearing in Kirby style allies, he has not really, no, really, even among like the Kirby fans, he isn't, he's kind of like one of the more forgotten villains as well. And he basically had two major roles, of course, in Squeak Squad and Kirby Mass Attacks as well. So, as well, and of course, he appears in Kirby Style Allies. It could be included as a Dream Friend, and even has its own storyline as well. Where again, like most of the other Dream Friend battles, we have to fight Morphle Knight at the very, very end of it. And of course, we could talk about the other Dream Friends as well. So yeah, so we have a couple more. We have the rest of them. So of course, that we didn't mention. Then, like the Maid Sisters, Taranza, Susie, the Adeline and Ribbon, and Rick, Kine, and Koo being Dream Friends as well, and of course Dark Meta Knight. The problem with some of these characters like Adeline and Ribbon could probably work as a Rosalina and Rumor type character, but a character like Rick, Kine, and Koo, you'll be playing with 3 characters as well, and I don't think they're that likely anymore because they don't really appear in many Kirby games anymore. So we're gonna talk about the others. So Taranza, again, I don't think Taranza is that likely, considering the fact that it's probably to go for the Forgotten Land or a character like Mox, who always has a boss appearance, or Magor, who is a fan favorite character. Same thing of Susie. She was basically, Hoffman's assistant, but she does appear as a Dream Friend, and he can pull from those movesets, but again, compared to the other characters and compared to the most recent Kirby game, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which just released, you will have, of course, that Dark Meta Knight again. I think Galactonite is far more likely, but Dark Meta Knight could be added, as a Echo Fighter for Meta Knight. But even then, they could just make Galactonite an Echo Fighter Meta Knight. But even then, making Galactonite Echo Fighter would still be a missed opportunity of making Galactonite be able to turn to Morphle Knight, which would make him not an Echo Fighter because he can transform into an entirely different character. The Rick, Kine, and Koo again, Rick, Kine, and Koo, would be pretty cool because it'd be like the Pokemon trainer, but they're just not pretty likely at all because, they're not really, popular even in the, not really even popular in the Kirby games. They don't really appeal in many games other than cameos and Kirby games. Okay, so yeah, the most likely characters are probably going to become from, it will probably be Bandana Wildy, characters from the Forgotten Land, Mox, and Magor. I think are the characters that will probably appear more. And of course, further down the line, you could have Gooey and Darouts as well. And of course, you have some like more obscure characters like Dracula. Or from Canvas Course, you have Nightmare from Kirby Dream Land, the final boss of Kirby Dream Land. You have Void Termina. No, you have Highness. You have as well, but yeah, I think if in the future they're gonna probably pull from games like this because a game like Kirby Star Allies, you can they have like entire movesets available for all of these characters. And of course, you have the Forgotten Land as well, because all of these characters besides Vector Outfits, which only appears in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Also, I didn't mention Riengar as well, would also be a really cool pick for Smash Bros. Because he's a giant lion as well, and he can have like more lion-like attacks in the game. And he also has the ability to be possessed, but as well, which would be a pretty cool idea as well. But you also have Galactonite / Morphle Knight as well. You also have Bandana Wild D, which will probably be added as well. So yeah. Kirby actually has a lot of characters that can be represented in Smash Bros. Kirby is not just Meta Knight, King Dedede, and Meta Knight. It's not just those three, okay? Like, Sonic is severely underrepresented, but yeah, there's a lot more characters that get accrued from the Kirby series. That would be very, very interesting ideas to add into Super Smash Bros. As a whole. So, what Kirby character... And I think the poll, there were like 19 people who voted. Most of them said Galactonite would be the best choice. So that's Morphonite, because again, you can basically make Galactonite and Morphonite, as one character like Pyra and Mythra are in Super Smash Bros. Okay, as well. So that's basically about this video. Goodbye.